Yeah, what's your schedule from here to the trial?
From today?
From today, yeah.
So we're from today. I don't know. What's today? Wednesday. So on Saturday we'll be 3 weeks out from trial. So for the next 3.5 weeks, we're just training. We've got a competition, a tune-up that we're going to go to next weekend. So next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be up in Stafford. It's the last chance to qualify for Olympic trials. So we have a handful of people who are trying to get last-second cuts. Those who already have their qualifying times it'll just be their last tune-up, last chance to just race, and really just try to, it's just focus on racing experience. Just going through, trying to execute the race the way they want to, and get that down before we get to trials. So that's next weekend, and then that's exactly 2 weeks out from the start of trials, and then we'll just kind of, again, continue to train. But what I like to call prepare to swim fast those last couple weeks leading into the competition. And did you say till trials or beyond? Because then it gets busier. Yeah, I mean, trials is, it's an 8-day competition, so it's the longest competition that we go to at any given point for anything. And I think we're the only country in the world that actually simulates the actual Olympics. So the Olympics is an 8-day meet, prelims, semifinals, finals. That's what we do. I don't recall if the Australians do that, but I don't think anybody else does it. So we're there 8 days. Well, we'll be there almost 2 weeks. We leave on a Wednesday. We'll come home on a Monday. So 12 days, we're gone. And then we come home on a Monday, and we're home for a week, and then we're gone for the rest of the summer. We have a training camp it's a domestic training camp in Cary, North Carolina, for a week, and that's where personal coaches will be allowed to go to that. And I did that in 2016. I had an athlete when I was at NC State qualify for the Olympics. I wasn't an official coach on the Olympic staff, but I got to go for that week and be there, get the experience. But as an Olympic coach, it's great for us because we get to know the athletes a little bit better. We get to know their coaches, what their needs are, and we spend a lot of time that week with them. And then we leave Cary. We're in Croatia for 2 weeks, and that's the staging camp. So same time zone as Paris. It'll just be quiet, nothing will be going on, but just training. And then we get to Paris probably 4 or 5 days before swimming starts, and then again there for about 2 weeks and let it rip.
Nicole Auerbach from The Athletic.
Yep.
Todd, so when you got named the coach for the Olympic team, what changes or what has last year been like since that happened for you?
I'm not sure a lot has changed necessarily, other than a lot of meetings, a lot of planning, for the Olympics, for these training camps, for example. There's a lot of planning that goes into that. We probably have a meeting every 2 weeks with USA Swimming, it's usually about planning items. A lot of talk about who our assistant coaches might be, on the Olympic staff. We've done a trip to Paris. We flew to Paris. We were in San Antonio for a Pro Swim Series meet in April. We left and went direct to Paris from there to just do some site visits and see things, see venues. We've been out to Colorado for a couple times for meetings. That's where USA Swimming, the USOPC base is. But outside of 2 or 3 in-person meetings like that, it's been a lot of just Zoom meetings, planning, and so not much has necessarily changed. I'll take my UVA hat off after the last day of trials and put my USA hat on at that point, and then it becomes all about Team USA. But certainly we're doing things in advance to prepare and make sure that the team is set up for as much success as possible. And then do you take your coaching style, and obviously your hope is there will be UVA swimmers there. How do you take that then to coach? Yeah, so 2 years ago, Anthony Nesti and Anthony's the head coach of Florida. He's the men's Olympic head coach. He and I were the head coaches for the World Championship 2 years ago, and so we worked closely together in this type of situation. And he and I, we mesh really well. Our personalities mesh really well. We're actually kind of exact opposites, which is really good. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know that I'll change anything, as far as on deck, day-to-day interactions go. I want to try to bring the same energy, bring the same vibe, and just be myself with the Olympic team. Most of the athletes, the majority of the athletes that probably will make the team, I've probably worked with before, or I've known, or I recruited, or very few of them will be brand new to me, or Anthony Nessie for that matter. But yeah, I mean, you just try to continue to create a great environment. We try to create a great environment here every day for the college team, and we try to do that there and take a little pressure off of them. Let them have a little bit of fun. Certainly, they're going to have to work hard, and there is a lot of pressure and a lot of stress heading into an Olympics. But we try to take the team approach. And again, just let them relax as much as possible, have as much fun, and just again bring the environment, the personalities that we bring here day to day, and do the same thing there. I definitely don't want to try to be something I'm not. That's for sure.
You talked about the pressure of this, and of course, these swimmers are putting so much pressure on themselves. How do you as a coach help emphasize that, but also make sure that you're not stressing them out more than maybe they already are, because it's the Olympics? Yeah,
I definitely don't. I want to add anything to that. They're putting enough pressure on themselves, and they certainly want to perform at the best they possibly can. For us, we don't necessarily talk a lot about making the Olympic team. We talk a lot more about just being the best that you've ever been. How can we prepare to go, peak at Olympic trials, swim faster than you've ever swum before, go a lifetime best, and if you do that, you're going to be in a good position to make the team. And if you don't make the team, you can still walk away happy because you swam and performed the best that you've ever swum, and you just can't control what's going on around you, right? Like, I talk to them all the time. I'm like, if you go your best time and you get beat and don't make it, then you can't necessarily be upset because you did really well, and more power to those people who beat you, because they're going to have to swim really, really fast to beat them if they're going their best time. So try to take a little pressure off of the end goal and put it more on themselves, what they can control. Build their confidence from how well they're doing in practices. Just set them up to be successful, and then let them kind of go, and then they got to keep their composure and perform, which most of them have done historically. So I don't necessarily, and I think they can look to that and say, okay, I did it at NCAAs, I did it at World Trials last summer, I did it at the Olympic Trials in 21. So it's not necessarily any different. We try to talk about how it's just another meet. It's just another meet, but that's kind of hard. It's not.
In a football stadium.
Yeah, in a football stadium with fireworks and pyrotechnics, but it's fun. It's a great environment.
How many swimmers from Virginia are planning on being there in Indianapolis, do you think?
I think, from the current team, we probably the pool is full, right? So I'd say, 30 to 40. I don't know exact number that we have qualified. Again, hopefully we'll get a couple more next weekend. But I would say past, current, and future, we've probably got 50 to 60. A lot of our recruits already have that will be there. We have some post grads, Paige Madden, Leah Smith, who graduated a couple years ago, will be there. So there's a lot of who's that will be there.
Is it going to be strange having it in a football stadium? You brought that up. I think it's the first time ever.
First time ever. I don't know. I have no idea, right? It's the Olympic Trials has been in Omaha in a basketball arena. So, it's obviously a football arena is significantly bigger. So I don't necessarily know that it'll be weird or strange, but it'll just be different. But it'll be exciting. The more people, the better. I think the kids feed off of the energy of the crowd, and I think it's just going to make it more exciting.
Are you having to delegate more to your staff here while you're gone than you would in a typical summer?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely delegating a lot because I'll be gone. From the time we leave for trials till I come back, it's 8 weeks, and we're right in the middle of recruiting season. It starts June 15th, which is the first day of trials. So a lot of recruiting is being delegated. Fortunately, we've been through this. I was gone. Coach Blair was gone last summer for World Championships. I was gone the summer before, and then the summer before that I was gone for the Olympics. So our staff is pretty prepped on understanding what's going on and picking up the slack, and I'm sure I'll still be doing things for UVA while I'm there. I have to, right? Like, there's just a lot that has to be done. But yeah, the staff's really good, and I think they're excited for our team. They're excited for the opportunity for our staff, and they'll pick up my slack while I'm gone, I hope.
Besides there's probably some obvious here, but like, what about your time at UVA and this experience here and coaching and stuff that has allowed you to kind of elevate to this platform to be the coach of the Olympic team?
Yeah, it's wild. You know, when I took the job, or even before I took the job, when I was considering taking the job, when they offered it to me, I knew, and the reason why I took it is because I knew UVA was the type of place that could attract the types of student athletes that, you know, would be able to accomplish at all the highest levels, you know, academically, athletically, you know, so I knew that UVA could be a place that could potentially accomplish these types of things. I had no idea if we would ever do it. Had no idea we might do it this quickly. You know, it's really been a whirlwind now for 7 years, and particularly the last 4, where it's just like I need to at some point soon, because I haven't done this, just take a step back and, you know, really like let it all sink in what the team has accomplished. But they make me look good. I don't, you know, they're fantastic people. They work really hard. You know, if it weren't for the athletes, you know, I'm not here. You know, I'm on the Olympic coaching staff because of them and what they've done. And, you know, it's amazing to me what they do and how much they put into it. And, you know, it's really impressive. And you know, me being on the staff is a reflection of them and what they've done.
What was Carla's reaction when she learned that she got the news that you were going to be coaching?
Yeah, she's like, all right, cool, have fun. Yeah, she's so supportive. You know, she's just great. I love her. You know, I don't think I could ask for anything better out of an AD.
When you go way back further, could you imagine still being an accountant?
No. Yeah, I mean, you know, doing the tax work and accounting work, you know, it was, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. Like, I didn't wake up every morning excited to go to work. You know, I woke up every morning going to work and knowing that I needed to go to work, and I like the people that I worked with, and that was fun. But now I wake up, I wake up significantly earlier now for practices, but I love it. I can't wait to get to the pool every day. I can't wait. I tell our kids, I actually did. I got a speeding ticket back in the fall, in the morning, because I was like, not because I was like late. I just couldn't wait to get here. I kind of like to drive fast too. The kids will tell you that. I kind of do everything fast.
Did you get out of it, or did that not work?
Didn't get out of
to
it.
get to work?
Didn't get out of it.
So Todd DeSorbo was big enough to be coach of the Olympic team, but he's not big enough to get out of it.
No.
Would Tony?
Yeah.
would
I didn't
Tony
drop my
Bennett
name.
gotten out of
I
that?
think that's
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the benefits of being the Olympic coach are. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's great for recruiting.
A few years ago, when Kate finally kind of first broke through, she turns and looks at the clock, and the look on her face is like, oh my God, like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And now when you watch her swim, she touches the wall and she turns and she's like,
Yeah.
Can you just talk about that that evolution in her confidence? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's so obvious on her face how different that evolution has been.
Yeah, and it's confidence. You know, I don't think she wasn't confident before, but I think she didn't know what she was capable of before. And anytime, especially in her first 2 years here, that she did something great, there was a little bit of shock. And I told her when I recruited her, you know, and I told her the first time we met her freshman year, that she was capable of being an Olympian. You know, just she had the talent, she had the ability. Now, a lot of things have to happen to get to that level, and she's made them happen. But I think she has just gained more and more and more confidence as she's gone. You know, every day, every week, every year. And she sets pretty lofty goals, and she works really hard. And again, a lot of it comes from their success in practices. But yeah, I mean, her confidence, I think everybody, all of us, lack some confidence at some level. You know, and you try to minimize how much you lack and you know, gain as much as you can. But you know, I think she has confidence in the training that we do. She has confidence and trust in me and the process, and she works really hard. So you know, those things give her a lot of confidence. So I think, you know, I don't think she has much doubt that she's capable of accomplishing a certain time. But again, at the end of the day, like, is that time going to be good enough to get you to the Olympics? Is it going to be good enough to win a gold medal at the Olympics? Well, you know, that we'll see.
You said it there, like she has the physical ability, but a lot of swimmers do. What is it about her, or maybe the Alex and the Gretchens? What is it about them that sets them apart from these other really talented swimmers?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's natural talent, certainly. They had great coaches in high school growing up. Somebody you'd have to ask them, but somebody whoever taught them how to swim did a really good job. I've coached Kate for 5 years now, and she's been swimming for 10 plus years prior to that, right? So I have them significantly less time than the people that had them prior to me. The Walshes in Nashville, their program, John Morse and Doug Warham do a fantastic job, and they've just developed great athletes and taught them really well. And we've just, taken them and tried to, continue to develop them and add new things to their programs. But I mean, so they were really good coming out of high school, but they've gotten significantly better. And again, I think a lot of it's buy-in, trusting the process, willing to run through a wall every day in practice, multiple times a day, push yourself to, the brink of throwing up or whatever it might be on a daily basis. You have to be pretty special to be at that level.
It's Alex who throws up a lot after.
Yes.
Is
At her
that
races.
normal? How often is she doing that?
Oh yeah, it's normal for her. Like at big meets, typically after the 200 IM, sometimes the 200 freestyle, at big meets, like not NCAAs, she does it at NCAAs as well, but at like the Olympic trials or world trials or even the Olympics or something, I just remember being, waiting for them to come, back. They do a media zone as they're leaving the pool, and 10 minutes goes by, I'm like, she's throwing up. I'm like texting the media people from USA Swimming. Yep. It's pretty normal for her. I think it's just a mix of nerves and then also just pushing yourself to that, kind of. A lot of people will push themselves to that point and then back down. And then some people will push themselves to that point and run right through it. And that's what she does. But sometimes you have to do that.
How prepared are your girls and guys, the whole team, having gone through what they've gone through here, playing, competing at the highest level in the ACC?
Yeah. I mean, they're prepared. We try to even during the regular season in our dual meets, we try to compete against the best in the country. Going to Texas and bringing them here, Florida, going there and bringing them here. The ACC certainly is strong. The NCAA. And the NCAA is typically the fastest meet in the world outside of an Olympics or something like that. So. They're not going to see any competition at the Olympic trials or the Olympics that they haven't seen before. That's not going to scare them.
What is a typical day for them right now in this period before the trials? What does it look like?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty much standard, across, what we do pretty much the entire year. But like right now, yesterday, for example, we had a 7 a.m. dry land session for an hour, and then they swam for an hour and a half after that, so about 8:15 to 9:45. And then now that school's out, they have a great break to be able to recover instead of having to go to class and be thinking. And then we're back in the afternoon for another hour and a half, 2 hour swim. Not every day we do doubles. Like today being a Wednesday, they lifted weights at 7 for an hour and then just came in and swam for an hour and a half. So some days we do that. We just do one session, and then usually it's 3 days of a double, two a days, and then 3 days of a single.
So you were kind of talking about this about like NCAA championship meets, but like how does the run that you guys have had and success in those types of environments help in the international swim meets?
Yeah, I think that we always say that we use NCAAs as a stepping stone, a catalyst towards, the international competitions. We're always focused on international competitions. That's honestly our biggest priority, is to perform at the highest level internationally. And so from a coaching perspective, we're going to prepare them throughout an entire year, even during the college season, for this. But I love the NCAA season. Granted, it's 3 months between NCAAs and Olympic trials, so it's not a lot of time. But we've been preparing since August, September. But the NCAA season keeps their mind off of the Olympic trials, and it's a positive distraction and a great motivator, and it's exciting, it's fun. So they just use the team aspect and the goal of winning a national championship or finishing as high as possible to keep them motivated, to keep them disciplined, to keep them committed, and knowing that we're going to build programs from a practice perspective that'll help them beyond the NCAA season, and then they can, turn the corner after NCAAs and be like, okay, now instead of focusing for an entire year on, I got to make the Olympics, I got to make the Olympics, I got to make the Olympics, it's not that long, right? It's like let's focus on NCAAs, and then we can focus on Olympic trials. Not that I want them to turn their brain off and not focus on Olympic trials. I'll focus on it for you. We'll give you the guys the things you need, and they know, like, okay, I know why we're doing this. We're doing this to set me up for Olympic trials, but their mind's more on NCAAs.
You have in all caps on your walls out there all day. What is that kind of mindset? Is that something that you then obviously teach that here? Is that something you also then preach at the Olympic level?
Yeah, that was put up in my office when I first started here, and that was before we had done much of anything, right? And I am a firm believer you have to carry yourself like a champion before you can become a champion, and so we try to instill an all-day mentality in them. So you act like a champion all day in everything that you do, in the classroom, in your social life, in obviously the pool. And if you can do that, then you'll get as close to your full potential as you can possibly get. Whether you're capable of being an Olympian, or maybe just an All-American, or maybe you're somebody who never makes our conference championship team. If you act like a champion, we expect that out of our whole team, whether from our Olympians all the way down, to in our staff. But the team early on embraced that, and I think that's a lot of the reason why we are where we are today, is because they started acting that way long before. It's kind of like, some coaches, basketball coaches will cut the nets down with their team in a practice before they actually win, just to it's kind of that type of thing. But it's not like we maybe practice jumping in the pool as a team after winning a championship, but it's a lot more than that, because that's the easy part, right? You gotta live it every day.
Can that translate though when you're coaching, not just UVA,
Yeah.
but the Olympians?
I think so, but I think that when you get to that level, those people they're all doing that.
Right.
Like, you can't, unless you're, Michael Phelps and you're the best in the world by a mile, you've got to live that way to get to that level. So I think that it's pretty cool when you're a coach of an Olympic team or a world championship team or whatever it is. Like, we're going to be with 52 athletes for 6 weeks, and it's arguably the best 52 swimmers in the world, all in one pool. They're all excelling. They're all elite. They lead elite lifestyles. They're all, some of them might be high schoolers, but those high schoolers are professionals. And the college kids are professionals, and the pros are obviously professionals, but they carry themselves like that. So it's a pretty impressive group to be around, because they all have the same mentality and are all acting the same way.
I know the lineup won't be set until the trials and they qualify, but of the swimmers who are likely, if it played out with seeds and times, do you know most of the women who will likely to be on your team, and
Yeah.
they know you at this point?
Yeah. I mean, I think that in the men too. I think that I've either, I would say it may be maybe everybody who makes the team, but definitely a majority that I've either coached directly, or I've coached maybe at the last Olympics or World Championships 2 years ago, or I've recruited them, or I've talked to them, slapped them high five or something. So I'll know everybody, and likely they'll know me.
What is the state of American women's swimming right now?
I mean, I think that, based on the last couple of years, the Australians have been the top, the top team in the world on the women's side. I think our women are a close second, or have been a close second. So, there's definitely a major push from USA Swimming to try to close that gap. And I look at the relays. To me, the relays are indicators of where you are as a country, right? Because it involves more people. We're the defending champions in the 400 medley relay, but the 400 free relay, we've gotten second or third. Same thing with the 800 free relay. So, I think if we can, particularly like the 400 freestyle relay, the Australians are, 2-3 seconds ahead of us. Like this summer, we hope to close that gap, and whether we beat them or not, I don't know. But it's in a good, I think USA Swimming as a whole, especially on the women's side, is in a really good place. It's young. There's a lot of young women that will make the team. Some high schoolers, a lot of college kids. I think that the professionals, the post-grads, will be the minority. which is great for the future.
You mentioned the CPA thing earlier. How can how do those skills translate into coaching? And has Darden ever tried to approach you to be like a guest lecturer?
No, Darden hasn't, but I have guest lectured at McIntyre.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple times. But I think, you know, I'm a numbers guy, like, and I can remember times, and, you know, I can, you know, and this is just like addition and subtraction and stuff, but I'm really quick with like calling out splits and helping the team, and also telling them this is where you need to be, this is the time you need to go. And that's all because of, you know, my math background. But like, if I see a number, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it, but I'm not good with words. I got like a perfect score in the math on the SAT, but I barely passed the verbal part. Barely. I could not have gotten into UVA.
What was the class you guys lectured for?
It was a leadership class. Yeah, it was fun.